because I think it's very interesting. Because I was addressing something initially from the manufacturer's standpoint,
Right.
but you
And I
also,
conveyed it into...
but you brought something up, I think, very pertinent to the retail side as well.
Yes. So
We were having, it was like a conversational coitus. It was reciprocal.
right.
Reach around.
It's deep. Yeah. You
So
like reach
deep.
I
around.
felt a little dirty watching.
I do. I enjoy a reach around because it is in the truest spirit of partnership. This is an activity in the spirit of true mutual benefit.
Yes. I agree.
This is how I treat all my retailers.
With reach arounds.
Reach around.
Is there a number, or it doesn't matter? Like a box? Like how many facings is it?
Just a bundle?
What's the requirement there?
I just had a savage case of deja vu right now
Yeah.
with this reach around conversation.
Really?
Yeah. Energy of the universe is upon us right now.
Oh, I like that.
I believe that.
Nice.
That's fantastic. You know what?
Maybe it's just the headset.
Well, as we kind of get going.
Welcome to episode 100.
Yes. Yeah.
The Cigar Hustlers podcast.
Are we
with our-
recording with the camera? Because
Are we going to do the
Yes,
thing where we
yes.
stop?
No.
Are we going to do that, or is that not going to occur here?
With what part?
Stop to go to one. He wants to be 100 and 100.
Oh, we're not gonna.
We're not going to do that?
No, I mean
Oh, so fuck me. That's cool. No, it's good. I'm glad my
it's my
input
show,
was taken.
goddammit. You can't just come over here and run things. I mean, it's actually
You're-
my
you're
show.
right.
It's actually,
You're right.
it's actually Palmer's show.
My apologies.
I'm just here.
I
I
retract.
like on the shows where I'm
I
paying
retract
for the
my
space.
Reach around for one facing.
Yes.
Yes. Big payback. The payback. The $6.50.
I was
Big
there.
payback.
A special guest here is Matt Booth today.
The real one.
Yes.
Bitches.
He's on a media tour.
I mean, ish.
You know. Are you getting fed up with this shit yet, or what?
It's ruining my life.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
Oh, the reach arounds.
No, I actually enjoy it, man, because,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so all the funny business aside for a second, I very much appreciate and enjoy this because it's critical for me to get my message out there, man, and you know, it makes, this is what makes that happen, so
True.
I appreciate this.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Oh, I mean, you know, the one cool
So
thing
serious.
about no, it's definitely not serious. Is like, you know, the Kiss My Ash one that you did, that was definitely off the fucking wall. Totally unorthodox for what they normally do. And then you did the Cigar Obsession.
Yes.
Those are the two that. Have you done other ones this week?
I did, well, last week they aired the Lounge Experience also.
Oh,
Which,
the two young ladies.
yes.
Up in
yeah.
Chicago or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think all of these and to identify them as well as you guys, I think that there's a certain cluster of folks that are all doing their part to really generate more momentum, energy, and awareness for our community as a whole. And everyone has their own little spin on it.
Right.
And so their shows take on their own individual personality.
Yes. I was gonna say this is
Yeah.
definitely different than what you've done.
It's a very different I like.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. How's it going to be different?
I have no idea, but I can tell you that it's not like, so what'd you do for a living and shit like that. It's more. I mean, what's really cool
I'm so nervous.
is I have the opportunity to I'm a little bit of everything, right?
I don't do well.
So I obviously do retail, I obviously do online retail, and I
Yes.
obviously do wholesale. So, you know,
pornography.
right, and porn. So I have my hat in many things, and we haven't even addressed my shirt yet. I mean, Jesus, we're just
Well,
going,
you saw it last week.
yeah.
You need that bang.
This is my official Bang shirt.
Oh, such an effervescent beverage, full of what is it? It's look at the top though. The one and I ingest this product myself frequently, but if you look at the top, it's talking about the amino acids and
Yeah.
but wait, there's one that I very much enjoy. Just pull it
Top
around.
10.
Keep turning.
Coke. It's Coke. It's just Coke. 10. That's it. I'm like, for real? I'll take 2. I'll drink it. It
much-
sounds invigorating.
How much cock is in this can?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
10, obviously.
But it's almost French and fancy with the COQ is Le Coq. It's nice.
Yeah, so we have a pretty good relationship with Bang, even though I said that the birthday cake tastes like diabetes.
I mean, for real though.
Yeah, it's
It's
super
very, very
okay.
sweet.
So, you know, I said that, and then all of a sudden we got a letter. I'm like, oh, shit,
Asking
they
us not
listen.
not to say that it tastes
So,
like that.
yeah.
They're like, hey, really appreciate the support. Could you
Could you not
yeah.
talk about the birthday
Not
cake?
say bad things, maybe? Would that be possible?
So, yeah, we were talking a little bit about industry jive prior to, and, like, you know, one of the things that you were talking about on Kiss My Ash Radio was the fact that, you know, Abe's like, hey, you know, I'm not going to bring in products. I'm in the service business. Whatever my customer wants, I'll bring in. And I don't entirely agree with that statement, you know, and I don't believe in dealing in absolutes.
Well, you know, I agree with that as well. Now, the one thing I will say about Abe's store, that I've always understood to be and respected to be. So we deal with shameless self promotion. We've dealt with Nordstrom as a retail partner for about 5 years, right? And the larger the machine, there become different ways that you have to attack it to affect to make sure that your merchandise effectively pulls through, right? And I look at a chain like Smoke Inn, and you really have to give it the level of attention that you do to a department store. It's just a larger animal, So I do understand where he's coming from, piloting an entity of that scale, but at the same time,
This is like Attorney Matt. We're getting the official,
Very serious.
the diatribe of
very,
Don't
very
interrupt. He's on a roll.
very
He's on a
happy
roll.
for the opportunity. And, thank you very
I'd
much.
like to thank my mom.
Thank you. Hi, Mom. My mom thinks she thinks I'm crazy. She does. Yeah. She loves me.
I wonder
love
why.
her.
Right? You can't see it at
She's
all.
the best.
So yeah, but Abe he's obviously really good at what he does, and he obviously has
So
his
juicy.
own kind of mindset, and Big Delicious or whatever the hell you call him.
Oh my God.
It's kind of weird.
Just juicy.
Whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. That's weird.
That's where I draw the line.
I'm just checking.
Yeah.
I'm just checking. It's cool.
So shit, what the hell were we just talking about? So yeah, I mean,
No.
I don't.
Abe is big and juicy.
I believe in that to a certain degree. I just don't
Yeah.
believe in an absolute equation.
Absolutely.
It's kind of my point.
No, 100%.
It's like, hey, I just believe in educating consumers on different products and, kind of holding them by the hand and saying, hey, you really should try this if you really like this, right?
you ever heard the saying, it ain't going to suck itself?
Yeah.
Okay. So it ain't going to sell itself either. All right. It's just not. And there are certain products that do genuinely the Baccarats, the Big Payback, things that organically pull off the show. No, for real, right? And then you also have this cachet, this bevy of these beautiful artisanal products that are all very different from one another,
Right.
and made by people that genuinely care about what the fuck they're doing, down to like a myopic level. And so
Right.
you it's not, I guess your job is whatever you want to make it to be, but at the same time, like if you want to educate and endear these products to your people, your folks, your kinfolk,
Yeah.
as they come into your retail location, it's going to take a little bit of, it ain't going to sell itself.
It ain't going to sell
It
itself.
ain't going to sell itself.
Yeah.
It ain't going to suck itself.
It ain't going to suck itself.
Viva lo.
Your move, Patrick.
Telling them all week.
It's like,
This is not taking care of itself.
so just one room for you guys, or,
It's so lonely on the road. It's just very,
Dude, it's tough. I don't know how, I don't know how anybody does it, to be honest.
The fucked up reality is legitimately every day I'm out here, I'm trading a day with my son.
Yeah.
I genuinely am, and
How old's your boy?
He's 4.5.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That makes it hard.
It makes it very challenging, man. And look, it's rewarding to be active in a business where I genuinely feel part of the community and people actually care.
Right.
But then you go out on the road and just you sit down with someone and say, Roma Craft is give me 25% off, and Foundation is give me 150% off. And what do you do for me, Matt Booth? And I'm like, it's very good for you. Your relationships must be forged. If you forge these relationships to where these people will accommodate you in such a fashion, it's a very interesting model. Maybe I'll just send you some boxes and a check for a G, and we'll be cool.
Yeah, but so how many of those
that's what I
guys you
should
think are actually full of shit, though?
do. All of
Yeah.
them. All of them.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
But you have to tell them they're full of shit in a nice way, because then you
Right.
get into, the other conversation.
Right.
I just tell them to go fuck themselves.
I kind of do, but I do in a comical
But you
fashion.
do it so much nicer than me. I'm like blunt.
He literally
like,
just
I'm
says,
fuck
fuck
you.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what, dude? This is a waste of my fucking time. It's a waste of your fucking time.
He'll go, Mike, get the car. We're going.
I do it with intelligent yet biting humor.
I've been
and-
kicked out of worse places than this.
Yeah. Come on now. Yeah. So no, but they'll probably discover that I told them to fuck themselves like a day later when they're like, "Wait a minute,
What did he say before?
Matt
he
just told me to
left?
go.
he said to fuck." Wait a
So, do you think that some retailers are a little bit more resistant on taking on some of the boutiques because of the fact that some of the boutiques that have been created in the past weren't necessarily really good cigars?
Dear God, where do I start? Okay.
Right.
I was very fortunate to be active becoming active in this business at a period of time that I consider to be the golden age of the boutique game.
Okay.
Right? And this is when it was fresh and new, and there were bunny rabbits and daffodils and flowers.
Bunny
And
rabbits.
oh yeah,
What year era issues?
we dropped Room 101, the initial product in market in 09.
Okay.
And I was working at a factory level from 08,
Okay.
right, to develop that. So the game was changing, and that trend wave was beginning to rear its head, to cascade. And this is going to dovetail into what is to become the answer to your question.
Yes.
But you're going to have to remind me what the question was, because
Okay.
I started rambling a bit and
Yeah.
all that.
It's got to bring him back.
But this, as everything does, becomes a trend.
Yeah.
Okay? There's the trend makers, and then there's the trend takers.
Right.
And so then this metastasizes into what I then call the Ed Hardy era of the cigar business,
Ooh.
where
very nice.
everyone had a cigar. Well, they probably, some of them I would imagine had some bundles they got off CI and then printed some bands at Kinko's and put them on them. But they surely had a cigar with their name on it. And so, but what this does is, you're dealing with people of varying levels of capability, right? To in every way possible you could imagine, but they can't. Some of these guys can't support you, right? Because to go back again, reach around.
Right.
Reach around. Must be reach around. There must be mutual support on both sides
Right.
of that retailer and manufacturer equation. So now confidence and trust is shaken and begins to erode, but not just with vendor X, with anyone that looks like vendor X.
Right.
So one of my favorite stories of all time was in the DC area, and the retailer shall not be named because this is my joyous moment that I share with people.
Because I can figure this out. I could start rattling names, but I won't.
So I'm with my dear friend Joe Holtman, cigar industry legend, and this was years ago. And he's having a phone conversation in the car, and we're driving, and he's talking about a retailer that I happen to notice in my notes. Because I do keep notes, I do, actually have some method to this madness.
You write that down? Write that down.
Write that down. So, he gets off the call, and I give him a moment. I'm like, Joe, why aren't we visiting retailer X? And he said, oh no, man, no. He doesn't want to buy your product.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, okay, well, tell me why. What happened? Like, did something happen? Or he's like, oh yeah. No, he hates John Huber. And I said, "What, Joe? What the fuck does that have to do with me?" And he's
Right.
like, "Exactly." And I was like, "Cigar business. This is quite possibly one of the most amazing." And I love John. Shout out to you. I love you, and he knows it because I called him about this. And I was like, "Do you know the conversation I just had, Jay Hube? Why are you fucking up my flow out here, Ben?" As a joke, right?
Right.
Like, but any guy that any tattooed white guy was just not happening in that shop.
Right. That's insane.
Because they had some sort of, I don't know.
You look nothing like him, though.
I've been called John Huber many times.
Really?
And by the way, many people enjoy my Monster series. They do. And I say, no. I'm not. I do some of his stunts
Yeah.
in the more aggressive scenes,
Right.
but I don't. It's not me.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you're a lot shorter in person.
But I graciously accept, all compliments. I do.
So to get back to the question,
Oh dear God, what was the
What
question?
the hell was the question?
so so the whole boutique thing, retailers being burned.
Yeah, I think that there was this chain of events
We
that
need
led.
something on his bracelet. Is it echoing?
Oh, here,
into the
I'll
mic?
just take it off.
No, you're all right.
I
Just
did-
a little jingle jingle.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
Nice.
jingle
Leave that
jangle,
there.
baby. I noticed you looking. I was like, oh, he's peeping my link.
Dude, I
But then
gotta
it
be-
was an audio thing, and I'm like, oh no,
Right.
I feel.
He
a
can't
little-
even hear it either.
He's like, he's looking at me. This dude wants me. And then I was like, oh no, I'm making too much noise. So, yeah, and then now we are in what I call the nuclear winter.
The nuclear
cigar
winter.
business.
Okay.
Yeah, and look, man, there are all these things coming at us from every angle, right? The gray, the giant gray cloud of uncertainty surrounding
FDA.
FDA. There's things that we absolutely know. There's things that we're just kind of figure out as we go.
They
and-
don't fucking know.
Of course they don't.
Right.
But they're making the rules as they go, so
Right.
they hold all the cards, right? And
That's true.
and then you have the fallout from the super saturation of the boutique-esque type products,
Right.
right? Well, which I mean, look, the guys that were active in the beginning are typically the ones that put down their tent pegs
Right.
in the soil of longevity.
Sure.
I got my tent peg in there. 2009. What do you know about that? I love going into humidors because, like, as a designer first, you know, you see, like, I love to go into humidors and I'll look at products and I'm like, you stole that from Jonathan Drew,
Right.
didn't you? You know, because you recognize the authentic plagiarism or the plagiarism of authentic design genetic if you have that eyeball, you know. And I mean, I've kind of been going a little ham. I would not normally behave this way. I'm a little more reserved, as you can tell.
Yeah. You're holding back. That's cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do. I you know, but I also monitor what I say.
Right.
First of all,
Sometimes.
right. But I like to be.
There's a mic in front of you. You're gonna
Well, first of all, I just simply like to be respectful of whomever I'm talking to,
Right.
right? And if they're going to dislike me, I'm going to earn that. It's
Right.
not just going to be some
This guy's a dick.
yeah, some whim. You know, it's going to be genuine. Like, oh fuck, Matt Booth. Like, I genuinely, he's given me enough substance. I know I dislike him.
Right.
I'm just a barrel of disappointment, just whisking around the
I mean,
pen.
I think some of the mainstream shit's fallen off too, big time. You know,
It's all falling off.
I see a lot of these guys are kind of hitting the panic button. You're starting to see scale back in production in SLE, and you're starting to see the like. I've seen reps adamantly ask, "Hey, is there anything you can buy right now? Because you know, I
suck your
really,
dick."
really could use it."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Take 3 more
Like that
boxes.
type of thing.
So, it's insane.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good.
I feel like I'm giving. I'm so.
Take it over.
It's your show. Go ahead.
Goodness. Oh my God.
I really like it when I can just kind of lob it up and I'll just sit back.
Well, I mean, look, this is the most hostile. Now, look, I'm junior to many in the business, but now I'm senior to many as well, and I might also add people have come and gone in my time,
yeah.
and that happened like with the blink of an eye. I mean, I remember when I was the most junior dude in the business,
Right.
running around trying to introduce. I very much like this cigar, by the way.
That's good. Yeah.
Introducing, people to our brand, right?
Right.
Oh dear God.
So you're having a Baca. I'm having a Room 101
Yes.
Farce Maduro.
I am Baca.
Just to kind of slide that in. And
Baca.
you're smoking.
Is it
The
Baca?
first Habano one.
Right.
Yes.
Or is it Baca? Is it Baca?
I think it's Baca.
Can it be Baca?
It can be whatever you want.
I like it
Baca.
very much.
I like Baca better.
You know what? I'm gonna
Whatever name
smoke.
you want.
I very much am enjoying this Baca, and I enjoy it, and it is very tasty.
Yeah.
and I like it.
I'm a fan of the factory, so it's good stuff.
Oh, sponsor to the show.
Kind of.
I'm a fan of Morris Day and the Time,
Nice.
and many other characters. Yeah, man, it's an amazing.
You know what I think is kind of fucked up too, though, is like, so you're seeing, a scale back on, I think, in production, especially from the mainstream brands. But like, why did they get to call themselves legacy brands? Like
Which
that-
ones? Who said that?
The kind of in general, if they've been around a long period of time, they get to drop this legacy brand. It's like, and for me, I kind of find that insulting because like, legacy brand does not. It sounds way fucking cooler than boutique. Way fucking cooler. And the fact of the matter is that I think that some of the smaller production manufacturers are making better cigars than a lot of these mainstream fucking companies.
Well, because there's finite attention to detail, a more monitored level of production, an intimate level of production. All of these things add up to the ability to simply make a better product.
Right, but
You're making a lot less of it.
I just don't think it's fair. I don't like.
Well, so the
legacy.
big payback would be a legacy sub-brand of Room 101. Now, why? Because I've the brand has been established a certain amount of time,
Right.
and that's a sub-brand that's been active and then less than active and then then revitalized and relaunched. I consider that to be a legacy sub-brand under Room 101.
Gotcha.
But I wouldn't call Room 101 a legacy brand.
No.
No. I'd
Just
call
a
it
payback.
a goat rope.
Okay. Fucking goat rope.
A
Okay.
goat rope with a legacy sub brand. But and then you have like La Polina is an example. That's a family. It was started by the gentleman that owns the company. His one of the forefathers of his great grandfather. I mean, you know what I'm
Right.
saying. So
Yeah.
that is a legacy brand. I believe that would be a valid.
It just doesn't feel right to me.
Nothing can be a legacy brand.
I just feel like if
Nothing.
like we shouldn't be called boutique. If you're gonna call, you know what I mean, like
What
I'd rather
about
be like
salon?
David
Boutique
versus
or not
Goliath or
boutique,
something.
it's not-
You know, like
My brand's a salon brand. It's not
It's
a
a
boutique.
salon
It's salon.
brand.
It's the industry's first salon.
it's a male barber shop.
It's salon. It's actually been because we innovate and disrupt, and all those other terms that the big corporate marketing guys like to jack each other off with in their offices during their meetings. We do all those things, but we do them actually authentically with soul, and we are and have always been
With
the
some form
industry's.
of KY.
Yes. If it's available, if not, you spit, let's get it done as we're adults here. So, oh dear God. Why am I, you know what it is? I'm just so
I like
nervous.
it. I like you're a little nervous. It's fine. It's
I'm
cool.
not.
Don't
Well,
worry.
I mean, I'm just a little, I have so much information that I feel
do.
like I want to give.
You do.
Like bubbling over.
And I'm just kind of like jumping quickly to one question to the other. But I have another great
You
question.
didn't stay on the microphone.
Did that sufficiently cover that topic?
I feel like but we don't agree on it to some degree, but I just don't feel like I don't know. It's just legacy. To hear some of these brands call themselves legacy, I'm just like, bro, you haven't made anything relevant in the past decade. Like you're not legacy. So
Yeah, there's a difference between old and stale and legacy, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, 100%.
like I mean, in my opinion, Fuente's legacy, right?
Yeah.
That thing
that was
that's
actually one of the first that came to mind.
right. That's a brand that qualifies in that term.
Padron?
No doubt. Padron,
There you
absolutely.
go. So
Legacy,
I think
right.
we're on the same frequency
right
with this.
So then there's those two.
And then nobody else.
So recently you're obviously close friends with Caldwell, and you guys are doing distribution together. But you quit distro with him and you jumped into La Polina.
That's correct.
So why?
Well, it wasn't necessarily a jump into another company. It was
Right.
it was a move to self-distribute our products with some support on the back end related to infrastructure.
Okay.
Yeah, and logistics. So some logistical support, some infrastructure support.
So you felt that La Polina would just be a better pair. Caldwell want more money or something? Yeah. All right.
There was waterboarding and hazing at their offices. No. Look, the Caldwell family, they conduct business in a very human fashion, and
Right.
I'm like,
He's a great guy.
he's amazing.
Yeah.
Look, they all are, and they've all become very dear friends of mine. My friendship with Rosewood predates his activity in the cigar game. Even we met one fateful afternoon at the first and only one ever to be Honduran Cigar Festival, up by the Big Jesus in Donley. No, Tegucigalpa, of the airport. That Big Jesus.
How long ago was that?
It was a hot minute ago.
A hot minute.
I want to say 2009
Yeah.
or very early 10. Whenever they had the Humo Jaguar Festival.
Okay.
Because they didn't want to call it the Honduran Cigar Fest.
So
Just doesn't have a ring to it at all.
but like you parted ways on good terms. There was no.
We didn't really part ways. I mean, we're still as good of friends as we always have been, and we're going to continue to work on distributing our existing collaborative products as well as developing more.
Right.
We're talking about developing more.
Now
right now.
that was another thing that you guys brought up at KMIA that kind of was weird for me. So like you were talking about collaborations, and like collaborations are a way. Caldwell argued the point that collaborations are a way to get more product into the store. Because Ellie's got kind of stale or yada yada yada. But you guys do a lot of collaborations anyways, right?
So
So it's not a bad thing,
not at all.
right?
Back in the day, before anyone other than the Face Off, right? We remember this product from back in the day. Other than that, no one to my knowledge. Now, I may have that fucked up, and please correct me.
We
if
don't
I'm-
fact check.
don't
on
fact
this.
check.
Yeah.
Okay, no, there's no.
Everything's true here.
Yeah, it's all accurate.
No one had ever made cigars before the big payback. That's too strong, right? That's
I mean, it
No,
seems
that-
legit to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
You can just
Good,
go
good,
with
good.
that.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. We always throw allegedly. in
Excellent,
there. Yeah.
excellent. I had approached Sam Lucia to collaborate with me, and at the time, I had just gotten started. And I was at the time that I started, I was traveling aggressively to meet people, like I said, and introduce our brand to folks, and I was like in his dust trail. Like I'd go into a store, I had 4 facings I was trying to sell people,
Right.
and they'd mention that
Oh, Sam was just here.
Sam was just here. He sold 75,000 boxes on Saturday, and I
Now,
was like,
is this Oliva Day or post
yeah,
Oliva?
this was Oliva. Yeah. And so, and he had been, one of the first guys to be, somewhat kind and accommodating to me, when I came into the game, and so we had developed a friendship, and I hit him up to create some sort of co-branded thing. He worked with a large company, and there was politics involved, so it didn't materialize.
Right.
But I always felt like a collaborative product would be of interest to folks, and now it's just, again, it's the Ed Hardy era of the collab game now,
Right.
It's
You've
so
seen it a lot.
the trend comes, it's hot, it's popping, people jump on it, and then the Johnny come latelys come and swarm, and then it's like tired and old as fuck.
Right.
The thing that I find most interesting about the potential for the collaborative platform is if everyone's actually participating,
Yeah.
if they're actually invested, you're genuinely going to get something that tastes nothing fucking like anything any of them would make.
Very true.
It's like I said on whichever show I've said this. Maybe it was Cigar Obsession. It's one of the recent. It's all like
I didn't listen to it.
it's swarming around me, but I said it's like writing music.
The media tour.
You can sit down and you can write music solo. You can play with yourself, or you can play with others. And the byproduct of playing with others in that creative mode is that you're going to write something that you wouldn't have written by yourself.
Right.
Same thing with building a cigar.
Okay. You want to take a break right now?
Yeah, we
Pause
can do
it real
that.
fast.
Yeah.
Shaky breaky.
Okay, we'll be right back.
So because we have all shoddy.
The headset mic is so cool in certain circumstances, and others super whack. Like if you go to a show at a bar and the lead singer of the band is wearing a headset,
doesn't work.
It's a non-starter for me. Non-starter.
What's funny is
That
like
one got in his way when he would smoke.
I went on Kiss My Ash, and I was like, I really want one of those. Like that's kind of what spurred this into kind of
Understood.
action. And then when we started using it every day, I'm like, this fucking sucks. I can't do this. But Matt has stolen my headgear.
I'm making it work.
What's really kind of funny is before you got on the show, I was actually thinking maybe we need to get headgear for the guests so that they can hear themselves.
Yeah. Something to add to the list.
And make something a little bit better and more comfortable for them. We're a low budget show, so it may take a year or two to get to that option. But
You're good.
It's a thing. Okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're good. And we're back. We're back.
So to briefly kind of talk about your past without going into cigar shit. So you were a Marine.
That's correct. 4 years, 3-7 India Company. I was a machine gunner in their weapons platoon.
So was it? It obviously wasn't a career for you. You didn't want to go long term. Was it a good decision for you or a bad decision for you?
I was in a very critical need for a drastic rearrangement of my life, right? And I chose to enlist, which I'm very glad.
Was it like a fuck you mom and dad thing? Or?
No, man, it wasn't a fuck you mom and dad thing. It was like I'm literally going to Leviathan my life if I keep doing. I was doing, I was going, So I needed a vicious and immediate rearrangement.
You had like a wake up call.
Yeah, I pulled the chute. I pulled the cord, and so it was definitely not an environment that a guy like me would flourish in.
Right.
I think but. At the same time, I'm very, very glad that I did it. I'm very glad that it's done. And you and I would not be sitting here today had I not done that.
No shit.
Absolutely.
I would love to talk to some of the people that you were with over there, just to get some of the stories, some of the real.
We could get. I bet we could get someone to call in if you want.
That would be
if you really want to
fantastic.
get crazy. Oh yeah.
I mean, we have the ability.
Yeah.
So
We're still friends to this day, man. I mean, when we started promoting our brand on the fashion side, I mean, some of those guys that were in my platoon were part of like our street team. I mean, we were very tight.
Right.
How long were you in?
4 years.
4 years.
Are you not listening?
I didn't hear that. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you said that first.
Oh.
Did I say that?
Yeah,
Were
4
you
years.
paying attention?
So that's what made me think
I'm
that
smitten.
you didn't really love the whole Marine thing. Like you did your 4 years and you said, okay, I'm done. But it makes sense if you're like, you wake up naked in a fucking pile of bushes and like, I got to get my shit together, And
Well, that's the cigar business part. I mean, we can fast forward to that.
right, yeah.
Yeah. But man, no. And look, the guys that I knew that chose to re-enlist, that felt that they had found where they wanted to, to stick it out and do their life, man, I congratulated every one of them. I think that's amazing.
Everybody's course is different, right?
Yeah, man. And to find, where you want your home to be for the next 20 at that age, I mean, that's, you're ahead of the game.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, and you're retiring at an early age too.
if you want to.
Those guys are now retired.
Right.
Right.
Good rank, good benefits.
Living their
you know.
best life.
Yeah, and now going on to do something else.
Buying Matt Booth bracelets and shit.
Yeah, that's right. You want that chain. New Cuban links.
So the bracelet, the whole jewelry company started before you got into cigars, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why would you decide to get into cigars? Because it's just it's, it's not easy. It's not it's a fun business to some degree, but shit.
Wait, it's not easy. It's not easy?
No, it's not.
That's so strange. I thought.
Have you ever walked into
Now you're just disillusioned. Matt,
So I'm
completely.
so.
Now
Oh
he's
my
just-
God!
now he's done.
Jerry Springer wasn't real. Cigar business is.
Yeah. Springer wasn't real?
I didn't even get to meet Rick James, Matt. Like this is fucked, man. This is.
So what makes you, I know nothing about that industry, right? But it seems like
Neither do I.
It would be more lucrative in some levels than cigars, right? And you're obviously an established name in men's jewelry. So what made you transition over into saying, hey, let's parlay this into cigars as well? I mean, obviously gin later, but cigars as well.
Zichin. So
There's another shameless plug for you.
no, thank you. I have always been desperately in love with the brand concept and brand architecture of Alfred Dunhill. Okay, but of 1920.
Okay.
The old school the quintessence of old school gentleman luxury collection, right? All the finest appointments. You could go to their flagship in Mayfair and sit on their patio and drink their alcohol and smoke their fine cigar whilst waiting for your bespoke item to be made for you
Right.
or during the ordering process of that, your consultation. I mean, it's
The
it's
whole experience.
It's the shit.
Right.
It's the shit. So the idea was how, I was very enamored with the idea of, okay, how can I create the Dunhill of 1920 in 2020?
Right.
By 2020. A luxury lifestyle collection that has a lot of craft, traditional crafted products, but with modern style, modern stylization, modern dressing, and applying modern technology wherever, whenever can help enhance but not pervert or distort the craft foundation of the product, right? So, for example, when I started making jewelry designs, it was all by hand sculpt, right? And now we're using, in addition to hand sculpt, we're using some computer program, even Maya and ZBrush, like they're traditionally for computer animation.
Right.
But now we can feed files from those programs into Rhino.
Like a 3D printer?
It's 3D software, right? But
Right.
it's you could build a design for a car on
Right.
Rhino, but when we started using that stuff for jewelry design, it was for us it was very limited. A lot of straight lines, angular things.
Right.
But Maya and ZBrush allow us to create things that you may or may not even understand had the human touch to them.
Right.
Because you're really sculpting virtually. And so it's really helped us to evolve because now I can make a link design for a bracelet if I want to do like a character-driven design, and we can feed that into Rhino. I can either do it by hand first and we can scan it and then scale it.
Right.
Because you can't make the same thing twice, right? So if you want to make some sort of matching series where there are different scales of the same character, this is the perfect way to accomplish that.
Gotcha.
So you want to open a store one day?
Oh dear God.
I mean, that's kind of what they did, right?
I mean, I would.
If you're
look,
trying to replicate it.
I was in love with having the idea of having like a townhouse or a where it's like full immersion, everything in it, from furniture to fixtures to fittings to
Insane.
Yeah, and I would still love to do that, But I mean, life and branded business get away from you, man. And we are here now. We are a cigar hustler.
Here we are. Yeah, no doubt.
You're an old school rap fan,
Yeah.
like Ice-T?
Yeah.
New Jack Hustler song, like we could modify
Oh,
that
yeah.
somehow for your theme song.
Yeah, we could slide that in. Absolutely.
Dope.
What's funny is we had Rick Ross for a little bit, and I'm like, we don't want to get in trouble for that. As we kind of progressed,
we kind of grew a little
as we
bit.
kind of got a little,
like,
we got a little more serious and serious. We're like, all right, we should
need a little
probably
music,
cut that
maybe.
out, and I mean, don't get me wrong, we don't make any money on this thing, but
Understood.
it's
You
still,
get banged though.
we get banged.
I like that.
Yeah, and, and Mike got this laptop, so
My man. So, but I mean, the idea was to have this multi-class brand, And by class, I mean like class of goods, right? Things that fit together that could build this picture.
Right.
And having an affinity for cigars that I earned and learned from my dear Uncle Lee.
That was a good cigar.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Cult favorite. Cult favorite. Legacy brand.
It's a legacy brand.
So,
It's two.
wow, it's crazy. Room 101 has 2 legacy sub brands. Wow.
Just so you know, if you go past an hour, if we get like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
2 hours, you will be episode 101 as well.
So we're just going to filibuster on this microphone. That's the strategery here.
Just so the record is 3 episodes for one guest.
You know what?
Oh,
I
dear
just
God.
realized why you wanted to be 101. I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh yeah.
That's so funny.
Damn.
Well, there's
Well,
that.
it'll go over.
So
There's that.
boom, boom. Mic goes off.
Didn't
Well,
catch that.
I'll make sure that we stretch it out.
Okay, we
Just- just for you.
Stretch it out.
Just for you.
Thank you, man.
I mean, we got more to talk about anyways.
Patrick needs a timeout there.
So did that sufficiently answer your question? Because I get a
Yeah.
little chatty sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I feel like you should do that, man. I think it'd be badass if you built a place and you had
It'd
like
be
a
the
fire
ultra.
pole, like a room 101 fire pole,
Mm-hmm.
like from one story to the next, skulls and shit.
Well, look, man.
That'd be amazing.
Address would have to be 101. So
Address would have to be 101.
yeah, the placement would have to be
Yeah.
really
Really
thought in.
kind of, dumbs it down as to where exactly you can go. It's like, is it address 101? No, sorry, it's
Nope,
102. Fuck,
Oh,
we're
no,
out.
I just put the numbers on the building. I'd be like, this
Fuck
is
up the mailman completely.
3715, 37. It's like the address is in Mexico. Like, what, how do you get your mail? We don't do mail, bro. We don't do mail.
Oh, mail.
You just show up.
It's 2 blocks down from the Blue House. The Blue House is gone. It's been gone for years.
Yeah, man. So that really was the idea, and you know, honestly, man, like at the level we're offering some of these products, I don't know. Now, please, we don't fact check here,
Right.
But
No.
if you want, I don't know of another brand that's operating in those categories at the level we are.
Right.
To be, you know, you can have people that offer like a tchotchke item or a, you know, like gift with purchase stuff or you know whatever have you, but like to be, you know, actively selling at a department store level, to be, you know, distributing our cigars now worldwide. And to be active in the U.S. alcohol market, which is a fuck show
Right.
of a business. It's like Boardwalk Empire realized.
Really?
It's actually not that different. I had an industry vet tell me, he's like, Matt, this business is Boardwalk Empire. Have you seen it? And I was like, yeah. I was like, come on, man. I was like, oh, he's right.
No shit.
He's totally right. Oh, yeah, it's a ridiculous business. Yeah.
I want to.
I could explain some of it to you. I mean, it's ridiculous.
We got time to kill. Go ahead. Do
okay.
it. Briefly.
But you ought to tantalize me with questions, please. You know what's funny about this? So I've done several of these, participate in several of these things, and everyone, you know, I respond to the vibe. I
Right.
feel like we have a vibe here, right? We're
Yeah.
vibing.
Yeah.
We're vibing. So I respond direct. I'm like a vibe chameleon,
Right.
right? I respond directly to the vibe, and I've done ones that are, you know, very buttoned up and very serious,
Right.
and I rise to that, and I you know, this I just feel very.
Yeah.
I feel very comfortable.
So like
with
I, you know, like I was telling
Not
you,
that I'm uncomfortable in the other one.
like I was telling you before, you know, what's funny is I've talked with you twice, right?
Okay.
So I've gotten 2 versions of you, right? So we got to get this on film. So I'm going to throw it out there.
Put it on wax.
The first one was IPCPR. You were in the Davidoff booth, and you were straight out of fucking Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. You were Johnny Depp's character, fucking apeshit crazy. And my brother had a
Yes.
bracelet on, and you know, you went like right to it, and like, what the hell? You know, what is that? A whatever name you said? And then you know, my brother looked at you like, I don't fucking know. And you said,
great.
okay, where'd you get it from? And he's like, eBay. And like at that point, the conversation was kind of gone, and you just went away, like just.
I floated away like a phantom.
Like just fucking. Shh. And then the second time,
I was wild back then.
the second
Shit was
time
wild.
that you know I kind of got to chill out with you was down in Stogies in Houston, and you know you got more of the chill mat, right? And you know it's kind of crazy. I didn't know what to expect when we sat down here with you, but you're right. You know, like your demeanor and the way that you're acting is totally different than one of the experiences that I've had with you before.
You're saying I'm a changeling.
Yeah. Whatever that means, sure.
I see.
Wait,
No
so
fact
it was-
checking.
It was
We don't
16,
fact-
Matt, so you have 13 more to go.
Yeah.
I've been accused of having, you know, that I'm V.4,
Right.
4.0. That's Jerry Catrone calls me Matt Booth 4.0 right
Golfer 6315, my dude. My dude.
That's Golfer 6315.
Yeah. On
Yeah, that's his
Instagram.
Instagram.
You know, when he was traveling, he used to come in here too.
No shit.
Yeah.
My name's Golfer 3615 on Instagram, and I hate your cigars. Hate your cigars.
So yeah, Jerry's the man.
He is.
He is.
We work with him. He sells.
Oh, yeah,
he
you're right.
peddles
You're
right.
our
Yeah.
swill in Houston.
Yeah. He's a
Swill peddler.
He's a swill peddler.
Solid dude, though, man. I mean, he and I have had a lot of good times. A lot
This
of
is
good
awesome
conversations.
too.
Yeah, no, of course, man. No,
Mrs.
I love
Golfer.
them both. But he genuinely has inherited Matt Booth 4.0, and he calls me on it. But Matt Booth 1.0 was waking up in the gutter. So what do you want from me?
Yeah, you know.
I'd prefer to stay alive.
I've actually heard that story.
Yeah, no, that happened.
That was an actual thing.
That's. I mean,
New Orleans, right?
that was New Orleans. I mean, I woke up in an alley in Okinawa. I mean, it's happened a couple times. It's not something. It's not something I make a consistent practice of, and genuinely, it's all in good fun. But sometimes I'm having such a good time, I get carried away.
going.
I get carried away with myself.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to not do that.
So that hasn't happened recently.
No, sir.
Was that the last time, New Orleans?
Absolutely.
No, that's a little while ago.
I clipped some behavior in a major way after that.
That was a wake up call.
It was a little scary, man.
Yeah.
It was like, even for a total maniac animal, it was a little like,
No shit.
maybe I should rethink a couple things with this.
Some of my choices in my life.
As I'm spitting gravel out and not having my personal effects on me. And,
Everything's gone.
yeah.
So
That was wild, man. The interesting thing about that evening is, we went dark at about 9 p.m., right? So, and there's no whisper of memory that has ever come back to me. It was a
Right.
very strange deletion of an evening of my life, right? But I have great friends in the business, as we know, and so every once in a while I'll go in. I ran into. It started as early as the first day of the show, because I ran into one of my friends that worked for Rocky, and he's like, he's coming up and he's talking to me like we had seen each other already. And to me, this is the first time I've seen this cat since maybe like the last trade show. I'm like, yo, did I see you the other night? And he's like, oh, come here. And he like takes me away. And he downloads me on the chapter that he was part of.
Right.
I'm like, oh wow, I was off the hook. And then, so I get these updates from people
From time to time.
Yeah, or you go visit a retailer and they say,
What are you doing with your pants on?
It's a couple. Yeah. It's been a couple years since we've seen each other, but you probably wouldn't remember seeing me last time. And I'm like, oh damn.
Oh shit.
And they're like, well, we were in New Orleans. I'm like, fucking, here we go. All right, tell me.
Here we go.
happened?
What did I do?
What happened? And it's interesting, like literally being fed your evening to you, and like
Yeah, having a blackout.
I was, but it was more. I was like altered beast.
No shit.
Yeah, it was pretty
Like
wild.
Let's Fucking Rage.
Apparently.
Like the whole
Apparently, yeah.
night. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I mean, this is America, Jack. I will not be responsible for my own behavior. I don't have to be apparently, because that's how it works. But
You didn't wind up in jail, so
yeah,
Hey, that's always a good thing.
yeah. There's that.
it might have been better actually.
I would have known where my wallet was.
No face tattoos or anything. So
So you never found your wallet?
Okay, so I'm just very much. I wanted to take more of this Bacai, and I'm very much enjoying it. It's very nice. It's very pleasant. It's a good cigar. Apparently, some. Let's not be so flippant to say that they were friends of mine. I think they were looking out for me at the time. But
use the term friends loosely.
someone took my wallet on my behalf, so I would not lose it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So the glasses were gone; they were lost.
Yeah.
Someone's wearing my frames in New Orleans right now. Probably a hobo.
Some homeless
Yeah.
guys running around going, "I'm Matt Booth."
And I did have my phone magically in
No
my
shit.
pocket. Yeah, and it had battery. And I collected myself, and I remember, like the Terminator's icon, like I
Right.
became active,
Right,
and
you rebooted.
I rebooted, and I got up, and I got the gravel out of my mouth. I'm looking around, and I'm like, man, I am nowhere near anything. Like, where the fuck
How did
am
I
I,
get
man?
here?
Pants were on, no strange pains, and I notice. I noticed my phone's in my pocket, and so I pull it out. And I'm like, well, let me just Google map my hotel.
Right.
Make my way back there. Get me some rest, possibly some water. And I look at my phone. I'm like, oh my, that is far. That is extremely far from my current location. And I look down the way, and a couple blocks down the way, I see traffic going back and forth, a main thoroughfare, if you
Right.
will. So I hobble my way down there, and I flag down a cab. And to this cat's credit, I explained to the guy what was going on, man. I was like, look, pat my pockets, man. Like I woke up back there, like I genuinely just need some help, man. I need to get back to my hotel.
No shit.
Will you help me? And I understand if you won't, because you have to make a living.
Right.
But and this dude took me back to the hotel.
No shit.
Now my one regret, right, as if
Right.
there
Just
are
the
not more. My one regret of this evening was that I wasn't thinking straight enough to get this dude's info, because I would have gladly sent him
Right.
money, cigars.
It's New Orleans. It might not have been his first time that happened.
I would assume that this is kind of standard operating procedure,
Right.
or something that happens.
They have a fund that he applies to.
So were you wearing bracelets or anything
no,
at the time?
No,
Were they weren't taken. You just didn't have any
no,
of them.
yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Deblinging is an intelligent move when you start
Right.
to go down
Hey, you
a
start
certain
drinking-
road.
Any photos on
right.
your phone?
No, nothing.
Oh, nothing.
So
In the moment, man, you can't take the pictures. You just got to
No, like somebody else did, and then let's
Yeah.
take his wallet, but shove his phone way down in his pocket because he's not going to be able to figure out where he
you
is.
want to talk about operator, okay? By the time I passed out in my room, all credit cards had been canceled and reordered to the business center of the hotel, expedited shipping on the credit card companies, by the way. And I had cleaned up, what I thought was a lost wallet scenario. I passed out, and organically, naturally, I sprung, like adrenalized, awake a couple hours later, and I looked at the clock, and I realized I got to do the Room 101 presentation about 10 minutes downstairs for the entire company. So what I'm going to do is I'm just get my pants on and get downstairs. And I got to the little conference room, and I just very, very timidly cracked the double door of the conference room, and I peeked in. And the first slide of my presentation was up on the big screen, right? And Dylan was standing up there and he's like, oh, look. And the entire room turns around, standing ovation is clapping because they had heard. Because I had sent some text messages to some folks about leaving a soldier behind. And I had very colorfully illustrated how I felt that it was an
Yeah, that's kind of
incorrect
fucked
move.
up, dude.
It was an incorrect move.
Yeah, it's like, how do you leave? How do you bail on your boy that's impaired? It's like, dude, we got to get him in the hotel room. We got to make sure he's not laying on his fucking back,
and then chain him to the bed.
Right. Yeah, that's well, I mean, you got to be reaching a point of about to pass out, right?
So Duke. He used to work at a cigar shop in Biloxi. Worked for AJ. He's a hitter. He's a solid sales guy. He works for Davidoff now. Younger cat. I love him very much. Duke ran into me at a bar that he used to frequent when living in New Orleans. This is his chapter, right?
Right.
And he said that I was sitting at the bar by myself. And I told him, they won't let me leave the bar because I had already been without wallet. See, I was apparently going into establishments and continuing to drink with no wallet, right? And so, I mean, this is very much out of my character, but I was on Pluto, and so Duke knows these cats, talks them into let me go. He actually, I believe, paid what I owed them. Thank you, Duke. I owe you an evening. And put me in a cab, and he says, I get back to the bar, and I sit down. I'm like, God damn, man, and he's kind of collecting himself.
Right.
He's like, Matt's off the hook, and he says, I literally turned my head, and you're sitting there staring at me with a fresh drink ordered. Staring me down, had bailed out of the side of the cab, gone back in, and ordered a drink.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean that was the persistence, So, yeah, man. So
It would have been a struggle.
I gave a stellar presentation, and then went directly back to my room and fell back asleep. Yeah, and that's my there are other people that have given me report, but we've spent far too much time on that.
Dude, that's a great story, man. Because I only heard like
little tidbits of it. You
Yeah,
know
me
what I mean?
too.
Well, you've heard, you've heard more than just tidbits. You've heard chapters. Chapter 1,
Yeah.
the bar.
Crazy, man. But yeah, so that, similar to my choice to rearrange my. Similar to my choice to viciously rearrange my life and go in the Marine Corps, I decided, I needed to viciously rearrange some things, how I was treating myself. And, stress takes its hands on you in certain ways.
Of course.
And you
Totally get that.
wake up in a gutter.
Right.
I mean, it was like Dr. Dre fan.
Yeah.
You remember the Fuck Easy video where his carcass is stretched out in the gutter at the end of the video?
Yeah.
It was like that. Like I was that.
That was easy.
But not the blue Pendleton at the time. Yeah.
How are we doing on time? I see you keep looking over there.
6.
Okay, so you want to kill it and
Want
go
to do it
for
again? And then we go to episode 101.
We can do episode 101. I got more to talk about.
I'm enchanted.
All right, we're going to wrap this episode up. This is the end of episode 100.
Episode 100. Legacy boutique brands and other
Matt and an Alex.
Oh wait,
topics.
before we cut these out, we do have these Casamigos and Ajo
Do we need to take a
gifted by
drink?
my
From
wife.
your lovely pregnant
Yeah, I
wife.
want to do a quick sip of it. I mean, I know if you don't want to, like, you're good, but I feel like we should.
All right.
Like
This is from your wife.
Yeah.
I will sip with you.
right.
I don't really drink that much anymore, man. But I mean, I'm.
I mean, I'm hoping to get you blackout drunk, but well, who knows? It's
Tequila.
It's just the one thing.
The
so.
essence of vomit.
The
Let's go
essence
for it.
of it's not the essence of vomit. I'll tell you when we go to the next show. I'll tell you why I love tequila so much.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hey, cheers.
Cheers,
Episode
gentlemen.
100. It's a great show. And on to episode
Yes,
101.
thank you, Matt, for being here.
Man, that's not half bad.
I told you.
That's actually not really
This
bad
is
at all.
Fucking good.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking good.
An Ajo, baby.
Thank
now
you,
the
Miss Brittany.
Reposado and the silver. That shit ain't my
Does
style.
George Clooney put his essence in this?
I
Is
think
this
he
why
does.
it's so delicious?
I think he does. He does like a little beard scruff or something. Like a little yeast. Yeah, I don't know.
I was thinking of something else, but yeah, no, it's fine. It's actually very delightful.
I mean, maybe he does do the other thing, but he sold
Allegedly.
he sold that company for
mad paper.
$700 million.
Yeah, the brand should just be called "We Got Paid." Casamigos has a ring to it, but
Right.
like we paid.
Ka-ching.
I think that's what it means in
Yeah.
Spanish. We got paid.
Oh, that is what it means.
That's the translation.
That is what it means.
And it had a $300 million incentive bonus, so it was worth $1 billion.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
sold.
no, it's dope. It's a unicorn story of epic proportions.
And if that number isn't reached, I just want you to know, it's not because on my behalf, because there have been times where I've tried to acquire this tequila and it's not available in the stores.
understood.
So
Understood. Yeah, very tasty, man. Cool. Thank
there
you.
you go. All right. So
All right. That's it.
Episode 100.
Hey guys, this is Matt and Garrett from How About That Cigar. We are here with Mr. Hector Alfonso Sr. from Espinosa Cigars, and we want to give a shout out to our friends Mike and Mike at Cigar Hustlers Podcast. Congratulations on 100 episodes, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, I heard about that.